Hi everybody, thank you for joining ICE Commentary this week. It's Nick McDonald here, just talking you through the charts and the way I see the trading playing out for the week ahead. Starting here with the Russell on the daily chart, looking at last week's action. Obviously we had a bit of a short week with the Thanksgiving vacation in the US. The way TradeStation here, the charts I'm using, does it takes out the candle, so there's just no daily candle there, and then that's a little bit of trading action from Friday. So don't worry about that gap in the charts. But ultimately, we're still pushing on strongly. We've moved up very nicely. We are overextended. That means we're moved away from the moving averages. So I'm looking for a pullback at some point into those averages. Just looking at the weekly chart and going back a few weeks ago, I talked about this bullish candle here, how I was bullish on the break of the high and was looking for at least a move upwards of the size of that candle. So I took the entry on the high, stopped below the low, and projected that move upward. We've pretty much achieved that now. So pretty much achieved that goal. We're also getting a little bit extended on the weekly, though not very much. It's not moved a long way like the daily has, but we have moved away for a few weeks now, and always just looking for that pullback. Monthly chart just as strong as ever and looking really bullish and pushing on to new highs. So ultimately here, how do I trade this? Well, this has happened many times before because the Russell's been in such a good strong trend. When this happens, I'm not looking for swing trade opportunities. So that means I'm not looking to trade the daily chart, for example, and hold a chart for days or weeks. What I'll be looking for now, while I'm still bullish in the long term, that means in the short term, as long as we remain in this uptrend, in fact, not even this short-term uptrend, the daily chart will remain in an uptrend for quite some time. But so long as we're in a short-term uptrend combined with the long-term, by the long-term I mean the daily, the weekly, the monthly. When I say now the shorter-term trend, I'm really talking about coming down and looking at these lower time frames like 60, 120, 240, 480. I'm looking for opportunities here in the short term as long as the daily remains bullish. The reason I'm looking so short-term now at lower, more intraday time frames as compared to looking here on the daily chart for opportunities is simply because now the daily is overextended and due a pullback. But I'm bullish, so therefore I'm not looking to get short the daily just because it's due a pullback. It just means my time frame, my focus goes to shorter term trading until we start to see that pullback. Then I'll allow the pullback to happen back into the averages, and then I'll look for longer term trades again, looking to get long as we pull back into daily support. Very important to note, actually, this is a really strong level now, 1120. Good resistance, good resistance all through there, and also just happens to be right on that moving average zone, and just looking for pullbacks into that level in the longer term for longer term swing trade opportunities. So just to clarify that, two things I'm looking at, because I said quite a few things there. In the longer term, that means just really for swing trades over days and weeks. I'm looking for a pullback, and I'll be looking for a pullback at least into this 1120 region. I'll be looking for swing trade opportunities around there. In the meantime, as long as we do continue to push higher, and for as long as we continue to push higher, I'll be looking for trading opportunities on lower time frames from 1 hour to 2 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour charts, looking for opportunities there to get me in and out in a shorter time period as long as this daily remains moving upward. As soon as the daily starts to pull back, I'll be looking for no trading opportunities, just allowing the pullback to happen, not really looking to go short in an uptrend. However, just waiting for it to pull back into this 1120 level or thereabouts and looking for opportunities around that level. Just having a quick look at the cash indices this week because they don't add anything different. The Dow is still pushing on. We're seeing a very similar situation here, except the Dow's a bit more overextended on the weekly versus the Russell was a bit more overextended on the daily. But ultimately the picture is the same. These are not telling us anything new, so I'm going to skim through them very quickly. S&P very much like the Dow, just looking strong across the board, not so extended on the daily, but as on the weekly. And just looking at the Nasdaq as well, much more like the Russell in terms of it's pushed on nicely on the daily, but not too overextended at all from its averages on the weekly. And all of those four major US index markets are all very bullish on the monthly chart. Longer term, the uptrend remains intact. Everything looks good. Everything looks positive. They look likely to go higher in both the short term and the long term. However, we just have to remember that these pullbacks do occur, and the further away we get from the averages, the more likelihood there is of a snapback. That's why I'm trading shorter term in the meantime. I don't want to enter a trade now and look to hold it for a week to the long side. I'd much rather be looking to enter trades now and hold them for a few hours in the very short term, because I know that there's more probability of a snapback. Therefore, shorter term trading makes more sense. When the snapback occurs, I'm looking to enter swing trades again around this level or around these averages thereabouts. Hope that helps, ladies and gents. Have a fantastic week's trading, and I'll speak to you again on ICE Commentary next week.